each of you is receiving this little needle case to do some practice sewing in, to learn some stitches. You're going to be able to take this home with you and keep it, so if you want to sew later on, you can refer back to this and hopefully remember the things that you learned. So if you go to the middle of the book, it's a piece of felt, and we're going to learn to anchor our thread so that we can do a running stitch. So I want you to fold that piece of fabric up in your needle case, and we're going to sew this piece to this piece. That's what we're doing. I'm actually going to do it over here so you can see a little bit better on the camera. So we have your piece folded up like that, and we have a needle that is threaded with a long end and a short end and a knot. Now we don't really want the tail. We need the tail. If we cut this tail off right at the knot will come undone. We need the tail, but we don't really want to see the tail. So one way we can get rid of it is to start our stitching in between the two layers. See that? I'm not through the back one, I am through the top one. And when I pull this through, my knot is in between. And when I sew that down, you're not going to see a knot. It's going to be buried, that's what I call it. So it's good to look at your project and see if you can bury the knot. I buried the knot by putting it inside. Now that's not really sewing anything together. All we've done is get the knot into the fabric. So what we're going to do to anchor this, and this is critical, if you don't anchor your stitching at the beginning and the end, it'll come out. So this is actually in some ways more important than the stitching. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to go down through everything very close to where we came up. So that did go through both layers. Now you could use a matching thread so it doesn't show. I'm using as much contrast as I can so that you can see it on camera. And I'm going back up through everything really close to where I came out. Not exactly, but really close. So I'm ready to start now, and that's joined together. It's not going anywhere. And that's all it shows on the back is this tiny little blip. And if I was using white thread, you wouldn't see it at all. So that's anchoring to begin. Now the running stitch, most of you will know, but I will tell you that fabric is really different than other materials that you have maybe used in this class, tech class, like wood doesn't bend. Cardboard doesn't bend, but fabric bends, and that is really helpful. So you should be holding your work in your, if you're right-handed, in your left hand, if you're left-handed, in your right hand, and you should be using your left hand to bend the fabric. See that? If you want a short stitch, you have to bend the fabric. Like without bending the fabric, you're coming up way over here. If you bend the fabric, look how small I can go. So bending the fabric is a useful thing to be able to do, and you should be doing it. So I went down and back up again in one go, but you don't have to. So here you could do it this way. All the way through to the back. And all the way back up again. So I'm doing down separately from up, or if you bend the fabric, you can go down, bend, and up in one go. Faster. So this is called the running stitch. So we're going across over here. I'm just going to finish this off. And now we come to the end, and as important as it was to lock the beginning in place so your sewing cannot come undone, we want to lock the end in place. And the way we're going to do it is called a surgical knot. So watch how I do it. I'm going to go down very close to my last stitch. Oops. So now I'm at the back. Now I'm going to come up. So I did really the same thing as the beginning. But now watch what I do. I'm going to take a tiny little stitch, and I'm not pulling it all the way through. I'm just pulling it till I have a loop. Can you see that? It's kind of got a twist in it. See that? I don't pull it all the way down. Now I'm going to go through that once from front to back, and again from front to back, and then I'm going to pull that down tight. You can actually push it with my nail so it's right down. That's called a surgical knot, and that's quite difficult to come undone if you leave a tail. If you cut this off with the scissors right there, that knot will come undone. So again, we wouldn't like the tail dangling off here where it's easily seen. We'd like to bury the tail. So watch what I do. I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm running it in between the two layers. My needle's not coming out the back, and you can't see it on the front. And I'm running my tail in the back, so now it's gone. And I can cut that off right here. And if I pull it the slightest bit, the end will go back inside, and it's gone. So no tails. You try it.